Yes, sir.
Okay. You'll be 55 this year.
I'm 55 this year, and I'll turn 56 on Halloween.
On Halloween, okay. All right. That's my next guy. Mr. Johnson is, we were supposed to have Mr. Johnson, and his birthday is tomorrow. Okay, James Jordan. James, you're what, 55 years old. You've been incarcerated 7 of 15 years. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
And my indication tells me that you completed the first 2 phases of your sex offender treatment. Is that correct?
No, sir, that's not correct.
Okay, tell me, give me the update.
Last week, I passed phase 3 into phase 4.
Okay, so you're in phase 4 right now.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so tell me some of the things that you found out about yourself and found out about the effect that your crime had on the victim.
Well, I learned a lot from victim awareness, and I'm taking it a second time. It really shook my world up here.
But I want to know what you learned from sex offender treatment.
From the sex offenders treatment, I learned to identify which risk factor I'm at, what is affecting me, and what I need to do to get a hold of the situation and not to reoffend, whether I'm at a low risk, high risk, or even a medium risk. How to reach out to get help instead of saying to myself, I can deal with this on my own, and I can't. There's a lot of things in life you can't deal with on your own. I learned that like risk factor 27, alcohol and drugs was one of my problems. That was my biggest risk factor. And I really appreciate the people here that's helped me learn a lot about myself and change myself.
Very good. Now tell me, you was starting to explain what effect victim awareness had on you. So finish that explanation and tell me about victim awareness.
I really never grasped the concept of what the effect of victim awareness, and it ain't just my victim that I did this to, but my other children are victims. My family's a victim by my actions. That's what caused the victim, and they're all hurting. My grandkids are hurting because of what I've done, my actions. And
okay, Mr. Jordan, go ahead.
it's it really gave me brightened my mind more of what I need to be aware of my actions and my choices that I make.
Now, Mr. Jordan, I'm going to read some information, and if anything's incorrect, would you please correct me, okay?
Yes, sir.
You finished victim awareness, you attended the Kairos weekend, and you attended AANA meetings at David Wade.
Yes, sir.
And we're going to talk about your substance abuse a little bit later. But how long have you been attending AANA meetings at David Wade?
Since I came to the compound in 18, I've only missed one meeting the whole time, and that was because of work.
Okay,
And I completed the 12-step program too. I did that in 19.
Okay, so tell me, have you completed a good time program called Thinking for a Change?
No, sir. I'm going and living in balance tomorrow. It's going to be my first day in it. And anger management, I'm next when they're fixing to start the next class up on that.
I see that you're on the waiting list for both of those.
Yes, sir. They had it on the call out last night that I was supposed to go this morning to one of the classes that I'm just starting.
Now, have you completed 100 hours pre-release?
100 hours what?
Pre-release.
No, sir.
Have you taken any parenting classes?
No, sir.
I
Being
think
a sex offender, I don't think they'll let me in parenting.
Oh, yeah, one governor, is that true?
That's not true. You got some bad information, Mr. Roche. They do attend, and we do encourage them to attend parenting programs.
I apologize, I didn't know that.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think a good program for you would be Malachi Dads or any other parenting program so you can learn about parenting and how your actions affect your children. And I see you're on the waiting list for Living in Balance. You're going to start that tomorrow. And you're also on the waiting list for anger management, which is next up when that course starts again. Let's talk about your drug addiction. What drug or alcohol were you addicted to prior to incarceration?
Wild turkey and meth.
Wild turkey, a bad combination.
Yes, sir, it is.
101 proof wild turkey. How often did you drink whiskey?
I drink it every day, but you know, I'd have 2 mixed drinks in the evening. I think meth was my biggest issue because of the hours that I worked and constantly trying to keep up with that due to my job.
At what age did you start using meth?
I was in my late 20s.
You used meth over 20 years.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So tell me, what substance abuse program have you completed? I know you attended AANA. I know you completed the 12-step program, but what substance abuse program have you completed?
I'm waiting for Living in Balance.
Okay. The meth problem is one of the worst addictions there is. And Living in Balance is a substance abuse education, but I was talking more like Lou Walters, Don Francois, Steve Hall, intensive substance abuse program. After using meth for over 20, 25 years, I really think that you need to consider not only substance abuse education, but you need to consider enrolling in a substance abuse treatment program after you finish Living in Balance.
Yes, sir. I discussed that with Mr. Burgos and he agreed with me on that because that's, you know, there's been some good benefits to this right here. One, it's helped get me off drugs. It's helped me get off alcohol, and I don't have no urge for cigarettes no more.
Good. Good. Now, Mr. Jordan, and I'm going to talk to you very frankly. You pleaded guilty to aggravated incest, and you agreed when you pled guilty to serve 15 years. You've only served 7 of those 15 years. The victims of your crimes are still mentally, physically, and emotionally affected by the offenses you committed. Why should we vote to release you early when these victims are still in pain and suffering because of your actions? Why should we do that?
Well, I know my victim's gonna be suffering for what I did for the rest of her life. And if I knew of some counseling or something, anything that I could help pay to make it better, you know, to get her counseling, psychiatric help, I would. But that is one of the realizations that I had to come through in victim awareness, is how much I really messed her head up.
Mr. Jordan, let's be honest. Mess their heads up, because you have more than one victim. You were convicted on one count of aggravated incest, but you have more than one victim. You have your 2 daughters, your stepdaughters. We got all the information, so we know everything. You have multiple victims. You not only have one victim, you have multiple victims. So these victims are still suffering and in pain. And why, after 7 years of the 15-year sentence, which you agreed upon, should we release you?
If I could help them in any way I could, like I said, I would, but honestly, I don't know what I could do to help them. That's something that I hadn't learned yet. Even if I served the whole thing, they're still going to be suffering. Long after I'm gone, they're going to be suffering. And that's the biggest pain in my mind and my heart that I have to deal with, that I hurt my babies.
Okay, so at this stage, if you had an opportunity, and you can't speak to the victims directly because it's against the law, but if you had the opportunity to speak to the victims, what would you tell them?
I absolutely apologize for what I've done. The hurt and the pain that I have caused is unexcusable. I know this. And I would just ask that you forgive me. Because another thing I learned here, and I learned that from the chat, you in order to ask God to forgive, you got to learn to forgive. I had to learn to forgive the people that gave me pain and hurt in my life when I was a child.
Thank you, Mr. Jordan. Mr. Jordan has a low risk assessment score. He has a low static 99 score, which are both very good. And he has no disciplinary issues and 7 years of incarceration. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Now, what is your job at the facility? What do you do on a daily basis?
I work in the North Kitchen.
And how long have you been in the kitchen?
Since 18.
About 4 years.
Yes, sir.
About 4 years.
Yes, sir.
If released today, what is your transition plan? Where do you plan to live and where do you plan to work?
I plan to live with up there by my son, Junior. He owns some trailers up there, and he has one ready with Rosie Helverson. She's going to be staying with me. I've got a job offer through American Shipbuilders. I'm an electrician by trade. And I'm friends with his grandson. And his grandson has been talking to his grandfather about hiring me on down there. They just signed a 20-year contract to do military destroyers down there in South Louisiana.
Right. Warren Goodwin, would you like to make any comments, remarks, or observations?
I don't have much, Mr. Roche. James Jordan's record pretty much speaks for itself. He's been pretty honest and straightforward with you. He hasn't had any disciplinary issues since he's arrived at this institution. He is a good worker. He works hard in the kitchen for us. He's been in the kitchen for a pretty good while now. And, he's been participating in the program, continues to participate in programming. And, I think he should, if the parole board, is gracious enough to give him a favorable recommendation, today, I think, he should have to at least complete the sex offender programming and some additional programming, including substance abuse, prior to his release.
Thank you for what you're doing. Just to let you know, Mr. Jordan, you have a tremendous amount of opposition to your early release. The judge in the first JDC, the sentencing judge, is opposed. The district attorney's office in the first JDC is adamantly opposed. The sheriff's office is opposed. The chief of police is opposed. The victim is opposed. And as I said before, the victim has stated she is still mentally, physically, and emotionally affected by these sex offenses. And I have to take into consideration also, Mr. Jordan, you've only served 7 years of a 15-year sentence, which you agreed upon. You haven't completed sex offender treatment. You haven't taken substance abuse education or a substance abuse program. And I'd like to see you take some parenting classes. So, I will make my decision at the end of the interview, but I have to take all of those things into consideration when I vote. Mr. Wise?
I have one question. Mr. Jordan, the record shows that you have 14 children. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am. I have one set that's grown and one set that ain't.
Okay, so there's 2 mothers involved in it with 14 children.
There's 3 mothers.
3 mothers, okay.
I'm married 3 times. I'm still
Gotcha.
legally married.
Okay, yeah, your record says that you were married. I just wanted to make sure that wasn't a typo. All right, then. How many grandkids?
I got 13 grandkids, and I just found out last night that I got another one on the way.
All right. It's wonderful. That's all I had, Chairman.
And that's another thing I've had to answer to with all the rest of my family about my actions. I've had to discuss it in detail with them.
Mr. Freeman?
Mr. Jordan, do you now take full responsibility for the charges that you were charged with? Do you agree that you did commit them?
I agree to the one on Gloria, but I don't agree with the other ones. I don't. I got in 2011, I know you're looking at it. I wasn't even there with them. I was over 20 miles away at my best friend's house for over 2 weeks when all that took place. My current wife was at her ex-husband's house with the kids, and I wasn't allowed there. That's why initially the charges got dropped. And then they brought them back up again on this one, and they got dropped because the kids were telling them he didn't do this. I'm right now with LaSalle Parish and the social services with my younger children because they're in state custody, fighting for the parental rights and asking for a chance to get out so I can start paying to take care of those kids.
Thank you.
Okay, at this time, we're going to allow Ms. Rosie Helpson to speak. Ms. Helpson?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Do you have a statement?
Yes, I did.
Okay. Please give us your statement now.
My statement is that he's trying to get better and everything. He's like he said, he wants to come live with me and everything. But he's gonna, he's gonna go to work and everything like that. But he is trying to get better.
Thank you, ma'am.
Sir,
Continue.
sir, he's trying to get better and everything. They're trying to go to work and everything, trying to take care of his kids and everything. But
Thank you, Ms. Rosie. Mr. James Jordan Jr., would you like to make a statement?
Yes, sir. How you doing today?
We are getting some feedback. If you have anything else on, would you please turn it off? If you have would you turn it off?
I'm trying to get my video up.
You can't video it.
Oh, hello. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Hi, how you doing today? I'm sorry. I was trying to get my phone up and working.
Okay. Give us your statement.
Yes, sir. I have some trailers. I have one actually up and ready for them. He's gonna live with my aunt, and if he can't get a job at the ship millers, he can come work with me. He calls me and we talk about everything. Every week he calls me and we chit chat about what he did, and he understands what he did. And like I told you, if he can forgive, we all forgive. He done 7 years. He's been locked down for a minute. And we're just ready for him to come home and he can start living life. And like I told him, the first step of admitting is admitting what you did. And I told him that you told us that all our lives. Admit what your wrongs are and continue. If God can forgive, we can forgive.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank
At
you.
this time, we're going to hear from the opposition, Ms. Gloria Jordan.
Yes, sir.
Yes, Ms. Gordon, would you give us your statement?
Yes, sir. Let me start by saying this man does not deserve to be out of jail. I am one of many victims, which some didn't come forward because they were scared. I'm scared for my life, my family's life. I've already been threatened to be killed by this man. I went through years of therapy, and still to this day I have therapy. I have PTSD, anxiety, and severe depression. I have to live with this every day, and I feel like he hasn't served enough crimes for the crimes he committed against his own daughters. I'm done.
Thank you, Ms. Jordan.
Thank you.
Mr. Jordan,
Yes, sir.
would you like to make a brief statement before we vote?
I never threatened any of my children's life. I might have done what I've done on that, but I never threatened any of my children's life. I might be a sex offender, but I'm not a killer. And I have to live with that for the rest of my life, what I've done to her. But I never threatened any of my children's life.
Thank you, Mr. Jordan. Is the panel ready to vote? Yes. Mr. Jordan, your case is a little difficult for me. You've served 7 years of a 15-year sentence. But I don't think you're quite ready to be released yet. You just started the vote phase of sex offender treatment. You're just starting living in balance, and you're on the waiting list for anger management. And then we have to consider that you had a net addiction for over 20, 25 years. And that is one of the worst addictions a person can have. And you need some kind of long-term substance abuse treatment after you have living balance. So based on your need for additional rehabilitative programs, opposition from the judge, law enforcement, and the DA's office, victim opposition, my vote is to deny your request until you have an opportunity to complete sex offender treatment, living in balance, and some type of substance abuse treatment program. If I grant you today, you have to complete all of that in 9 months. And I think it's almost impossible for you to complete all of that in 9 months. So do that. Once you complete all of those, reapply, and it may be a different story next time. That's why.
To Miss Gloria, I just want to appreciate you for the courage, determination it took for you to speak, to be a voice today in this hearing. I appreciate you. You're doing better than you think you are. You're doing better than you know. And I just want you to know that. Mr. Jordan, it has been difficult. It has been difficult. I do want to commend you on the work you've done on yourself. I'm glad to hear, because you got a 15-year sentence. You're going to be out in the community someday. And I, from what I'm hearing today, you're going to be a different person. But for me today, my vote also is to deny for the reasons I already been articulated. But also for me, the age of the victim and the nature of the crime is also my reason for denying. And I too join Mr. Roshi. I urge you to reapply after you what the warden recommended on those programs. Sit on the front row and really get it. Best wishes to you, sir.
Thank you, Ms. White.
I agree that you do need to complete those classes, and the outcome may be different next time. But I'd really like to hear you quit saying I might have done, because I believe you've done it. So, you got to realize what you've done and the pain it caused, but you realize that part of it. But, do those classes and then come back and we'll see what happens.
Yes.
Mr. George, you have received 3 votes to deny your request. Your request for early release has been denied. You have a good day.
Thank you. You have a good day,
Mr.
too.
Roche, we have Offender Johnson ready for the next one if you want him there.
Yeah. As soon as we finish the vote sheet, we'll have Mr. Johnson.
Okay, well, he's here available and ready at this time, so we'll bring him in.
Wow, I am just really angry right now. I think I was just going to like a boiling point, and it kept boiling and boiling and boiling. And if this was the first time that I watched the board, I would be so disappointed in them, because the way that they're treating this cockroach is with far too much naivety and respect. Where do I even jump in to start with this? I might be a sex offender, but I'm not a killer. No, you are a killer, sir. You're a killer of childhoods. You're a killer of your daughters and your stepdaughters' innocence. You're the worst kind of disgusting creature that exists on this planet. You don't deserve to exist. To think that this thing can get out one day is really scary. that he only got a 15-year sentence committing incest on his daughter, and there were more victims. There were at least 3 other victims. At least 14 children, 13 grandchildren. You have to be the biggest idiot in the world to not think that he has been doing this his entire life. Oh yeah, and I do believe you threatened her life. Absolutely. Gloria, what she said and the way she finished it with "I'm done," it was perfect because it was just saying it how it is. It takes bravery to get up there. And she said that the others haven't said anything because they're afraid for their lives, and they should be, because that is a monster. He is probably a sociopath. I'm not one to get into what is what, but he has sociopaths tend to do really well in prison. They know how to manipulate. There's a reason he doesn't have any write-ups. What is wrong with our system where someone can do that and only get 15 years, but another person for selling marijuana can get a life sentence? Or armed robbery can get 40 years. But here he is destroying his own children's lives and who knows how many countless others, and he gets 15 with a chance of parole at 7, and then the board even treats him with respect. Just for him making his daughter get up there and have to fear that he might get out, that anxiety and that fear that he might get out, he might be paroled, just to put her through that, you should get another 25 years. This is not a father. This is a monster. How do you commit rape, incest, prey on your children, and take some courses and get out? What the hell? I have so much respect for this board, and I do not understand what just happened, what I just saw. Something else that's really messed up is that he's a low risk score. They have the assessment thing. I have no idea how it works. How is he low risk? How does someone that is so blatantly and obviously a monster low risk? It's a guarantee he's going to reoffend. It's not if. I don't even say it's when. It's how many more lives is he going to ruin before he gets caught? That's the question I ask. Yeah, the judge is opposed. The sheriff is opposed. The prosecutor is opposed. The victim is opposed. And the entire Mandu community is opposed. Shame on anyone who would even try to help him. It was kind of like a light into his life listening to those clowns trying to figure out how to get onto a Zoom call. Waste of life. To think that that man could be walking in the same streets that we walk, in the same supermarket. Oh, he better not be building nothing for some electrician, please. What he couldn't, he lied about the crimes he's committed. He's lying to the board, saying that none of it else is true. He only did it to one daughter. I never said I'd kill her. He's lie after lie after lie. And the parole board's just eating it up. Very disappointed in this hearing. And all I have to say, if you're a first time watching this, this is not normal this is not normal behavior for them. I wish Miss Jackson was on this. That's what I can tell you. I needed some Miss Jackson. It's sick. Yep. I'll let you go.